Hello, everyone. This is Andy Kretzinger and Hunter Muller. Peter Camp on the ones and twos at Prep Sports Plus for this February 19th or 20th, depending on if you're counting when we're recording versus when we are showing. We're powered by who, Hunter?
That'd be Fairway Food Stores.
That would be Fairway Food Stores. And I'm going to tell you right now, we got some big-time stuff. We got some wrestling, which we're saving for the B block because maybe we'll get some early round tournament results in as we're talking. We got some basketball, which is coming up in the A block. We got some bowling state qualifiers. I'd say we just get right into it, Hunter.
I'm for it.
Let's do it. And you know what? First off, our first business today is sad business. We will say farewell to two of our big school girls basketball teams. We'll be saying farewell to a lot of teams this episode.
Yep.
Washington, Fairfield, they both played in the Class 3A regional tournaments, two different regions. Hunter, as I go get my phone or my computer charger, as I get the notification that, hey, bro, your computer's about to die, bozo, should have charged it, I will let you have the floor. Tell me what happened. You were boots on the ground at Washington's game, and then tell me with the Trojans as well.
Yes, sir. Washington taking on Mediapolis, a very tough Mediapolis team, only one loss in the season to a team from Illinois. These two teams played earlier in the season. I believe that one was like a 12 or 14 point game, somewhere around there. The first meeting, but. This one sees Mediapolis, as Andy kind of mentioned, down Washington, knocked them out of the postseason, end their season, but ended up being 58-38. It was a lot closer than that for the majority of the game, about 3.5 quarters. It was single-digit game, but Washington falls on this one. Another kind of late fourth-quarter surge pushed the Bullets to that double-digit lead there, but the Demons controlled early after tying the game at 6-6 with over a minute to go in the opening period. Washington's Kendall Hendrickson got in a layup with 41 seconds left to give the Demons 8-6 lead after the first. Mediapolis, one thing about them is they apply pressure pretty much the whole game. Unless you can break it, not a lot of teams have been able to break it. Washington did really well breaking the press and actually forced them to, play in the half court more and, got them out of that full court pressure, which, is huge for a team that gets a lot of steals and gets a lot of easy buckets off the press, like Mediapolis. But Washington continued to hit the first minute of the second. Adam Long and Reagan Miller buried back-to-back threes to give the Demons their largest lead of the night, 14-6. But Mediapolis kind of picked it up a notch, began to find their sweet spot with less than a minute later after those pair of threes by Washington. Really, Mediapolis was dominant the rest of the first half, scored 12 unanswered points. That culminated in a 19-3 run to the end of the quarter. Washington was held to just one field goal following the hot start, those threes. So at halftime, the Demons trailed 25-17. To start the second half, Washington came as close to 6 on 3 separate occasions. The final instance coming in literally the very end of the period, at 2.5 seconds left. Kendall Hendrickson hit Reagan Miller in the corner. Miller hit a 3 ball to make it 39-33 heading into the fourth. But as I mentioned, 3.5 quarters, Washington really couldn't get any closer than those 6 points. The two teams traded buckets to be in the quarter, but Washington's only field goal. But that was Washington's only field goal for about 5 minutes in the final period. 7 straight points by the Bullets made it a 48-38 game before Kendall Hendrickson scored a pair with 2:09 left to make it an 11-point game. But a little offensive scoring woes hit the Demons again in that. After that Hendrickson bucket, the Demons scored just one more point the rest of the game, while Mediapolis added 10 to its total to kind of seal it there. So, tough loss for Washington. We've seen this team kind of battle all season long, a lot of close games. I would say it was kind of the story that we've seen a lot from Washington. Defense keeps them in it. And so, that tonight the offense was clicking. It just kind of went blank there at kind of the worst possible time with being in a 6-point game. They needed to I guess continue to find they just need to continue to hit, and they kind of got in that little slump there, and that's kind of what Coach Rubb talked about after the game. But with the loss, Washington finishes its season 6-16, 4-5 in the Southeast Conference. That was good enough for fourth in the league. And Washington will be saying goodbye to 3 seniors. 2 of those seniors are starters. Kendall Hendrickson, obviously, a guard, and Lauren Hendrickson is a guard as well. And then Rachel Sands as well came off the bench for the Demons this season. But some big losses for the Demons there, but they do return quite a bit next year of I guess players that have seen a lot of action. So looking forward to see what the Demons bring back. But tough loss in this one to end their season.
Yeah, I saw early in that game that they had put a little flurry up. I thought they had a decent chance. They kind of were a team this year where they went back and forth. Some days you were like, oh man, they're buzzing today, and some days it was a little rougher, especially in conference. They just couldn't get over that hump against the conference opponents. But good season for Washington, the best season out of our 3 big schools, unless Mount Pleasant makes a crazy run here. Tell me about the Fairfield Trojans.
Yeah, Fairfield, obviously, I've seen them play this team, Williamsburg, in the regular season. Obviously, Williamsburg's a top 5 ranked team in Class 3A. And really, the Raiders' firepower is kind of just too much for Fairfield. Ended up being a 55-15 loss for the Trojans in this one. The Trojans were held to single digits in all 4 quarters in this one. Right out of the gate, Williamsburg put together their highest scoring total of the night, scored 21 points in the opening period. Gave up just 1 point to Fairfield, so 21-1. Fairfield was down after the opening 8 minutes, and really Fairfield could really just never get it going. That was the only point for Fairfield in the whole first half, so it was 40-1 at halftime. And at that point, it's just like you just gotta play to
play to have some fun, pretty much.
Just play it out, yeah. And they did hang with the Raiders in the second half. They were outscored 15-14, just 1 point difference there in the second half. But the deficit was just too great to overcome for the Trojans. So Grace Lyon scored 5 points for Fairfield, Faith Jones 4, and Lauren Martin with 2. So tough matchup for the Trojans. They end their season at 1-21. And obviously, we talked about this team, new coach, a lot of new girls coming in to the starting lineup that maybe don't have a lot of varsity experience. And, this season was definitely kind of a growing one for the Trojans.
Sure. I think I saw Fairfield on their 2 best nights. The one night in Van Buren County where they almost beat BBC on the road, and then the night when they beat Mount Pleasant, which helped them tie for 5th place in the SEC. So, so Fairfield and Washington gone. Mid-Prairie, a little different story. Hunter, I forget if you had the story on this or I did, but 77-41 Mid-Prairie over Central Lee. It looks like they rolled here pretty easily in the first game.
I was going to put that. I had that in the roundup.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, I was just going to mention that you guys are all watching this on Thursday, I assume, sometime in the future. Mount Pleasant plays at Keokuk tonight in the first round of the 4 regional, and then Mid-Prairie plays at Williamsburg. So those are the last hosts for our 3A, 4A schools.
I guess you want me to put them in the roundup since their game's tonight. I mean, I guess it's a little. Well, I guess they're watching this on Thursday, so I mean, it's kind of weird.
We can talk about it. You know what? Let's just talk about this here. I had the score pulled up. It was 77-11 Mid-Prairie. It was only a 10-point game at halftime. Central East's been pretty solid this year. I mean, they were all right in the South Division there, but Mid-Prairie way too much for them. Briley Gerhart with 18 and 10, the old double-double. Morgan Bender had 16. Izzy Kite had 11, hit 3 threes. How many threes? Mid-Prairie's just got so many weapons. They hit 8 threes on the day, and their top scorer was a post. So that shows how much how many points they poured in. I think it's going to be a battle tonight at Williamsburg. You people watching this right now, you already know if it was a battle or not. But yeah, and honestly, looking at this bracket here, if you guys are watching this, and last night Mid Prairie pulled off the big upset over the top seed in Class 3A Region 4 Williamsburg, I would like their chances in the next round. They'd be playing either PCM or Albia. This is a pretty strong 4. Mid Prairie is a very strong 4 seed in this bracket. I mean, you have a 2-loss Williamsburg against 5-loss Mid Prairie, and then a 3-loss PCM against a 5-loss Albia. So this is a pretty stacked region that they got here. But I think they can compete with anybody. Feels weird to.
Yeah, I think the Goldhawks are definitely a scary team. I think they got hurt because I think they got the only reason that they're a 4 seed is because they kind of got hurt and being in the. The River Valley South is the River Valley in general is a pretty good conference. So I mean, I think they got bumped to a 4 seed when they very well could be higher in my opinion. But
yeah, they could. By the way, so they have played. By the way, this year, Williamsburg beat them by 15 the first time around. But I just wanted to. I clicked on the game because I'm saying they definitely played last night, Wednesday night. You watch this on Thursday. We're recording this on Wednesday during the day. But I got this weather advisory from Williamsburg. It was in all capital letters, so I figure I need to do it justice here. But cold weather advisory remains in effect until noon Central Standard Time today. Cold weather advisory remains in effect from 7 p.m. this evening till 10 a.m. Central Thursday. Cold weather advisory remains in effect until noon Central today. Cold weather advisory remains in effect from 7 p.m. this evening to 10 a.m. Central Thursday. So that's a big warning. The warning's not going to go out in time because they're watching the show tomorrow. But if that game gets pushed back a day, then all this preview talk, it plays. So we got 3A and 4 out of the way. Let's jump down to a little Class 2A. And I have a Class 2A game from last night, Hunter. I was at one of our more promising team. We both were. But I was one of our more promising teams. Class 2A's Columbus Wildcats, the Super Conference North Division champion Columbus Wildcats, played West Burlington last night. And let me tell you, it was a blowout. Columbus all over West Burlington. I thought this would be a little closer. West Burlington has definitely shown some promise in different times this year. I think they had 8 wins. But from the get-go, Columbus scored the first 11 points. They were 26-6 at halftime, Hunter. 37-13 after third quarter. Actually, so it was only a 48-28 game at the end, a 20-point game. It was actually, they say, how your game, which I believe was also 48-28, the Washington game against Mediapolis, you said it was much closer than that. This is actually less close than that because West Burlington finally started hitting shots right at the end, they banged down like 3 threes in a row. But Lily Coyle ends up with 17 points to lead the Wildcats in this one. Franny Sosa with a big 15 points. A lot of those were off of they were in their 2012 heat bag last night with Coyle was throwing those full court passes to Sosa, getting behind the defense. But Coyle with 15 points, Franny Sosa with 14, Ariana Vergara with 8, Isabella Rendon with 5, Araceli Garza, Ellie Sanders, and Camelia Bacon with 2 each. And they wait a minute. Oh, yes. The box score that they sent me still says Central Lee is the team they're playing. It tripped me up for a second. That must be a leftover from the from a different game. But, yeah, so Columbus moving on. They will play the Danville Bears in the next round on Friday, and we'll see if they can advance to the regional championship game. Be pretty exciting, Hunter.
Yeah, we've only got, let's see, Mount Pleasant's fate will be decided yesterday night.
Yesterday night. Yeah. Oh, as my 3-year-old says, yesternight. Anytime she's talking about anything that happened in a previous night, She goes, I did that yesterday. I did that yesterday, Dad.
I just wanted to say something weird, but last night, I guess, I'm watching this on Thursday, but yeah, we've only got Mid Prairie, as you mentioned, left. Mount Pleasant playing, and then Columbus, and well, I guess Highland too. I'm getting to that game too.
Yes.
If you want me to, if you want me to get it, or we're going to wait until
Let's do it.
break.
That's where you were last night, Highland and Hillcrest, the rivalry.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it was the biggest difference in the game ended up being a big second quarter by the Huskies. In this one, 53-34 win for Highland over Hillcrest Academy in this one. Rivals were neck and neck through one quarter. 3 points is all that separated the pair through 8 minutes of play. As I mentioned, second quarter ended up being the biggest difference in the game. Huskies scored a game high 21 points in the second period while holding the Ravens to just 6. So halftime lead for Highland was 33-15. Hillcrest did not give up, continued to battle despite the deficit. Ravens nearly got it within single digits, within 10 after a hot start to the quarter, but the Huskies once again closed well. Ravens went on to outscore the Huskies 13-3 in the third, but Highland still sat with a 44-28 advantage heading into the fourth. And then in that final period, Highland went on to edge Hillcrest Academy 9-6 to keep its season alive and advance. Cameron Fink, freshman, with 16 points for Highland, Haley Brunn with 14, and Caitlin Bauman with 13 for the Huskies in that one. So Highland improves to 17-7. We'll take on a tough Springville team in the next round. Springville's 18-4, and Hillcrest Academy ends its season at 11-12. So, yeah, Highland keeps its season alive. So a lot of the time we do see our teams play each other just because they're so close. It's usually the two teams are pretty comparable to each other and things like that. So we usually see our teams knock each other out. In the postseason.
Yeah, we do. We do see our teams knock each other. But it might not be as much this year because this next round our teams have the murderers row. And speaking of murderers, Springville already has a little blood on their hands, a little Union area blood on their hands. Yeah, go ahead and why don't you jump into the girls? Everything that happened. Spoiler alert, everyone. We've already talked about the good. We're going to be getting into some sad, some losses here.
Our only, win outside of the single games. I mean, I guess there wasn't a win outside of the games we talked about with Mid Prairie and Highland and Columbus. As it pertains to the small schools, obviously Mount Pleasant being in 4A, playing their opening round, as we mentioned last night. If you're watching this Thursday, tonight, if you're watching it, well, you won't be watching it today. But anyway, Eddyville Blakesburg defeats Pekin. So 72-32. Obviously, Eddyville Blakesburg, number one ranked in Class 2A. So, I mean, a very steep test for the Panthers there. Sigourney downs Waco, knocks out Waco 62-33. And then, we talked about mentioned in Springville, they knock off Winfield Mount Union 63-31 in that one. And finally, the last small school, Van Buren County, falls to Pleasantville 60-38. So 4 of our teams get knocked out on Tuesday nights. So kind of tough for the our Union area girls teams. I guess when you look across the board at the number that played last night.
Yes, it was a tough one, my friend. But we will miss them, and we will move on to more boys basketball because I'll tell you what, Hunter, we got a little boys action left now. Boys have had one less round. Should we talk about games?
Some good games.
We did. I'll jump into. I saw a fun little game 3 nights if you're watching this on Thursday, which you are. Waco hosted Danville in a district tournament in a rematch of the triple overtime heartbreaking loss 3 years ago, I think, for Waco. And looked glim early on, looked gloomy, looked any other word you can come up with to mean sad. They were down 14-7 after one, 22-16 at halftime. But the Waco Warriors come back, storm back in the second half, take this one 49-43. It was very close up until there was a minute and 30 seconds left, and Danville had cut the thing to 1. And this, I'm gonna read the exact note that I left myself, Hunter. Quote word for word. Ready for this, Hunter?
Yep.
And this is, of course, this is my notes, so they don't have to, the English doesn't have to be perfect. But I said was only up with 1:30 left. Then Isaac Rich, bang, which means that he had a corner 3 to put Waco up 4, and Danville could never get back within 1 possession. Christian Stacy with 18 points to lead the way for La Warriors. Holden Hughes had 11. Hayden Jumble with 9. Rich only ends up with 5 points. So that 3 in the corner was pretty big for him. And then Isaac Egley with 4. Danville did a really good job of holding Waco's offense. Most of the game, there were just a couple of big spurts where Waco was able to get to the hoop, and the Warriors move on. And now I have to remember who they're playing. But you know what? You got that. Why don't you talk about yours, and then we'll talk about the next round.
Yeah, I was in. I do know who they're playing, but I was in Winfield Mount Union for a little Super Conference North action. WMU taking on Pekin. Obviously, these teams. The Super Conference North was quite the battle this season. The last couple of years we knew that Winfield Mount Union and Waco, we're going to be pretty much at the top of the North, with Hillcrest Academy in there as well. But this season it was kind of a little tight battle at the top. Obviously, Pekin played with pretty much everybody. Winfield Mount Union pretty much played with everybody dealing with some injuries as well throughout the season, but. Winfield Mount Union met and Pekin meet for the 3rd time this season. The two split during the regular season. Obviously, just last week, Pekin got the better of the Wolves in that one. But this time, a little bit more at stake. Obviously, a win and you advance, a win and a loss and you go home. And this time, Winfield Mount Union gets it done, 51-36. It was a big first half by the Wolves. Kind of made the difference in this one. It was tight right out the gate. Nicholas Sparrow was hot for WMU early, connected on a pair of threes to give him a 6-2 advantage. Pekin, meanwhile, it was a tough shooting night for Pekin, especially in the first half. Went nearly 3 minutes without a bucket. Casey Davis scored the first, and then a 2 from Will Adam made it just a 2-point game, 6-4 early. So they kind of battled pretty close there in the first, and then kind of Winfield Mount Union really just picked it up. As I mentioned, scoring was kind of enveloped the Panthers through the rest of the first period and into the second. Pekin was held to just 1 field goal the rest of the opening quarter as Winfield Mount Union closed the final 3 minutes on a 9-3 run to make it 15-7. After Davis scored the opening points of the second, a scoring drought hit the Panthers once again. A bucket from Cody Milks kicked off. It was a 14-0 run by the Wolves, and that was the 14 points was WMU's total for the quarter. So Pekin went over 6 minutes without a point, finally breaking the spell off a lane from Nolan Glick with just a minute 9 remaining in the half. But WMU had a pretty steep lead, 29-11 at the half. But one thing about Pekin is they're always going to battle, and they came out and really put together the first quarter of the night and the third. Kind of hit WMU in the mouth early. It was all Panthers early on. Cut the lead in half, and basically the blink of an eye through the first 3 minutes. Pekin got baskets from Glick, Davis, Cole Milliken, and Henry Adam to score 10 straight points to pull the game within 8, 29-21. But WMU answers back. Pretty much in the form of Cooper Buffington, really got him going. He was in foul trouble early, so he sat out kind of the last half of the first half. But he came up huge in the final 5 minutes of the third. He scored 7 of the Wolves' 9 points in a 9-0 run to give them another pretty wide advantage, 38-21. And then The Panthers kept it manageable, though, back-to-back buckets, including a buzzer beater from Glick. It was just 13 points was the difference, 38-25 after three quarters. But WMU in the end just did enough. Pekin came as close as 9 after a 3 from Milliken at 41-32. But the Wolves were pretty great down the stretch to pull out that win in advance. Jake Edwards, 6 of the Wolves' final 10 points in the closing 4 minutes. A 6-0 run through that span gave WMU a 47-32 lead, and that's pretty much all they need. Pekin scored just 4 more points the rest of the game. Pekin ends its season at 15-8. WMU advances to take on Burlington Notre Dame in round 2. Really looking forward to the next round of games. That should be a pretty good game. And then, as you were talking about, didn't know who Waco plays. Waco will head down to Holy Trinity Catholic for a battle with the Crusaders. That should be another really good game. It's kind of a battle between two teams that are built pretty different. Obviously, Holy Trinity, it's got the size, and then Waco's more guard. I guess guard
oriented.
I can run through this boys basketball round if you want me to do the rest of this.
Yeah, week. Go ahead. Let me know everybody else. Everybody else.
Hillcrest Academy takes down Central City 64-48. Keota takes care of Lone Tree 86-48. And those two teams will be playing each other in the next round. Those are the only other two teams that picked up wins out of the small school. So we have Waco, Winfield Mount Union, Keota, and Hillcrest Academy all still alive in the small schools. And one of those two teams in Keota and Hillcrest are going to knock each other out. So we talk about them knocking each other out. There you go. But Northland, 89-24 over Highland. Holy Trinity Catholic knocks off Columbus, 81-37. Luke Helligy for Holy Trinity had 43 points in this one. He hit 11 threes. I was like, dang, that's crazy. Yeah. PCM defeats Van Buren County 82-36. And then Mediapolis Downs Cardinal 84-40. So, 4 small school teams remain, and basically there's going to be the only potential for 3 to advance.
Yeah.
After the next round, but tough test regardless, though, for Winfield Mount Union and what am I trying to say?
Waco.
Yeah.
Couple tough ones. Mid Prairie also plays. Right.
Oh yeah, Mid Prairie also plays. They're going to play Mediapolis. I forgot to mention they have a bye. That's why they're not in the roundup because they didn't play the first game. Being 2 seed. So Mediapolis beating Cardinal, Mediapolis advances, and they'll play Mid Prairie in the second round. And the winner of that will play the winner of West Burlington and somebody. I can't remember who West Burlington plays. I can't remember who the other team in that first round played.
But very likely West Burlington. We could have West Burlington, Mid Prairie part 4 or something. They've played a lot the last few years. Well, that's all for the hoops. We got more. We'll step off the court. We'll get on the mats. We'll get on the lanes, and we'll be back after these commercial breaks. Stick with us.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores. Hunter, let's leave the regional and district aura for a second, because we need to be getting into a state championship aura for what I'm about to talk about. We have some wrestlers going to state. We have some bowlers going to state. And we're going to talk about them right now. We're going to start with wrestling. Now, if you're watching this on Thursday, a lot of our area wrestlers have wrestled last night. It is Wednesday. Right now, as we record, the 3A teams are starting their first round matchups. Little hint, we don't have any 3A teams, so we don't have any state wrestling results for you yet on this show. But I am going to tell you who we have wrestling to try and get on top of that podium in Des Moines at Wells Fargo Arena. Moment of silence for the name Wells Fargo Arena. Last time we'll talk about it is the well before it's the Casey's Center. Let me tell you, folks, what's going on, who we got. We have 14, count them, 14 state wrestlers now. 1,400, not our highest list for all the schools we cover. That's about one per school. It's not one per school because some schools got a lot, some schools got a lot, but it's just over one per school. So the number of wrestlers is down this year that we are sending to state. But trust me when I say this, the number of wrestlers that have a shot of finishing top 5 might be at its highest in a little while. I'm going to go 2A, and then we'll go 1A. In Class 2A, the Fairfield Trojans had 6, count them, 6 qualifiers. And here they are. District champions in Class 2A, District 4. Cale McCabe at 113. Casey Miller at 157. Dane Burkhart at 175. And DeRay Smithberg at 215. Funny thing about those guys, Hunter, all 4 of those guys were at state last year, making their way back. McCabe, of course, got second last year. Second place from Xandrick Allison at 144 and Alex Hudson at 285. That was District 4. We had some heartbreaking losses for the Columbus WMU Wildcats. They did not end up getting anybody through. And then our only other 2A qualifier in Class 2A, District 12. I'll tell you what, this was Heartbreak City in Williamsburg. That District 4 is in Centerville. District 12 in Williamsburg. The only wrestler that was able to walk off those mats with a ticket to state, Aaron Boone of Washington, who was on the podium last year, looking to get back there. He did get a bye despite getting second in the district loss and sudden victory there. And then a lot of Mount Pleasant and Mid-Prairie and Washington wrestlers getting third. I think Mount Pleasant and Mid-Prairie both had 5 third place, or maybe Mount Pleasant and Columbus WMU both had 5 third place finishers. Only 2 move on. So that is a total of 7 wrestlers in the Class 2A bracket. And we're going to match them up with 9. Wait a minute. Did I just do bad math? I said 14. I meant 16. That's me rewinding my brain and mentioning, I think I said 14. I meant 16. 9 plus 7, Hunter, is 16.
9 plus 7?
Is 16, not 14. Anyway. Class 1A, District 7, the Waco Warriors had 3 champions. Ian Mays at 106, who has bursted onto the scene. He's got a bye in the first round, I do believe. Gage Samo, a state qualifier from last year, wins his bracket at 120. And Loudon Hasengay, state runner-up last year, and now a number 1 seed in the 190 bracket. Looked pretty confident a couple nights ago. I saw him strutting around Waco at the Waco basketball game. People were hyping him up. So there's 3 Waco Warriors who finished first in the district. Second places, Leo Urak gets second at 106. If you were paying attention 5 seconds ago, you knew who got first at 106. That means the Union coverage area swept the 106 bracket in District 7. And Owen Minke of Sigourney Keota, 285. He got second. He will be representing the Sigourney Keota Cobra Savage Eagles. And at Class 1A District 12, no champion.
What a way to explain that.
No champion. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Cobra Savage Eagles here in a bit in bowling, too. 4 second place finishers, Highlands Cash Cole at 113 and Tyler Pearson at 132. And New London's Kane Forcing at 126 and Gage Burden at 138. All those guys will be wrestling pretty back-to-back almost. Those are all pretty similar weight classes. All those guys got second. Burden was is a returning state qualifier, so hopefully we get some big runs. We'll keep you updated on the Twitter at Union Sports page. You check it right now, you probably got some results there. And one of us might be there on Saturday night. We got people taking pictures. We got a whole army taking pictures this year.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get some good pictures on Monday of the state wrestlers. So, Hunter, are you anybody you're most excited to follow in the state tournament this year?
I want to say Loudon Housing game.
Yeah, I think he's got a
because
really good shot.
I think he was pretty bummed about getting second last year.
He was,
and obviously the guy he wrestled was no slouch. But I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's ranked number 1 or maybe number 2 still. I can't.
He's seeded number 1, which basically means ranked number 1. So I assume he is. Yeah, he's got a good shot. I mean, between Waco and Fairfield, they could score a lot of team points. Fairfield could score a ton of team points.
Oh yeah,
having 6 guys there, and they could. Those are damage doers. Those are not 6 guys.
Yeah, and all the Fairfield wrestlers, all 6 of those are really good wrestlers.
Yeah,
it's not like everybody's just,
Yeah, so we'd be looking at those 2A, 1A standings, and then I mean, I would not be surprised, despite losing the district final, would not be surprised if Aaron Boone goes all the way. He said after win number 150 earlier, he said, well, this doesn't really matter too much. I'm just worried about the state championship. So I'm telling you, he'll be motivated, and should be a fun tournament. Started yesterday if you're watching this on Thursday. And then why don't I go through some state bowling qualifiers, Hunter? This happened over the last 2 days as we go, so I might be a little sloppy with my explaining here. But I'm going to start with the ladies who went on Monday. And our only Class 2A girls team, the Mount Pleasant Panthers, were in Keokuk. They're going against Keokuk. The SEC champion Keokuk Chiefs had a higher score than any other Class 2A girls bowling team to take this bad boy down and advance to the state tournament with 2,888 pins. That's a lot of pins, Hunter. That might be my lifetime score of pins. Maybe more. Osco's got the second spot. What was that?
I'm a terrible bowler.
Yeah, me too. We should have a bowling challenge on this channel one day. That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
Mount Pleasant got 4th as a team, 2,214. But guess what? You don't have to qualify as a team. You can get there individually. And 2 Mount Pleasant Panthers will be representing the maroon and gold. Madeline Millard gets a 586 for 5th. Bethany Drury, 552 for 8th. Drury gets the last transfer spot. She did something similar last year. Drury is a returning state qualifier. She hits 223 on her 3rd game. Madeline Millard's best game was a 232, scolding hot 232 in number 2. So both those guys will be, those girls will be battling for a chance at the state meet. And as I said, Keokuk was the top team in 2A. They also have 3 of the top 4 bowlers. So watch out for those guys. Hopefully Mount Pleasant doesn't get matched up with any of those guys. Class 1A girls, we have a couple of Sigourney Keota, Savage, Cobra, Eagle, Demon Deacons. Sophia Young from SK goes with a 575, And Jaden Montgomery goes with a 567. This is a Class 1A, so only 4 go. I had the 4. Here we go. They got second and third at the Class 1A regional tournament, which also included Fairfield and Washington. And if the sadness has not sunk in yet, I didn't mention any Fairfield or Washington kids when I was talking about state qualifiers. That means they were shut out. Top Fairfield girls were Emma Cass and Autumn McBride, 448 and 434. Not quite good enough to get. You needed a 538 to move on. Actually needed a 560 because only the top 4. And then Washington's Brittany Devaney and Shay Fleming, 323 apiece, and then Emma Loeffler with the 319. So at least they were consistently right next to each other, the 3 of them. But yeah, so on the girls' side, just the SK2 and the MP2, and no teams there. Tough to in this area. It's just tough to go as a team. We have some absolute superstar bowling, especially girls bowling teams. But in class or on the boys' side, similar problem. A lot of good bowlers from around the area. Sigourney Kyoto's Landon Griner gets a 637 at his district, got 4th to go on to state. Louisa Muscatine was in that one, and so was Durant. And Griner was the only non-L&M or Durant bowler in the top 8. And that might be more than 8 because it only has the top 8 here. That could have been even more. But that one had Washington. Demons, Mitchell Zaglaski went with 571, which was 33 pins off of what needed to be done. So no Demons going this year. Class 1A in the other district where Fairfield was. Man, Fairfield had some big scores. Ethan Cass, 604. Ian Appler, 589. Jason Workman, 581. Not one of those scores was good enough to get into the top 8. Comanche was in this one. They had 4 in the top 8. Everybody that advanced out of this one went 622 or higher. So pretty tough there. And then the Mount Pleasant Panthers were in Keokuk, where Clinton dominated, and Mount Pleasant had Ethan Payne with a 526. That was not super close to 8th place. So you needed to get a 632 to move on. So we got the girl bowlers representing the way on the lanes, Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it's tough around here, especially. I feel like there's always like one team that's not a team we cover that's just like super dominant. Like, Keokuk's probably the best example of that, where they just roll on both sides, boys and girls.
Yeah,
Keokuk the last couple of years has been like just dominant, and it's tough.
It is, but you know what? We're gonna see some. So that's 5 SEC bowlers in that girls tournament. So we'll see. We'll see who comes out. We'll see who comes out on top, and we'll see who comes back to watch the C Block, where we will be saying our goodbyes and getting you guys all excited for the week to come. We'll see after these commercials.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Bring the kids, share the memories, celebrate 75 years of traditions at the Midwest Old Threshers Reunion. Relive the magic of steam engines, antique cars, and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Whether it's your first visit or a cherished tradition, you'll enjoy the delicious foods, the thrill of an Old West shootout, and the excitement of nightly grandstand entertainment. For 75 years, this has been the place where memories are made at the 2025 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 28th through September 1st in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hunter, it's time. It's time to say goodbye to our friends.
Yes, it is.
Goodbye to you, my friends. You ever watch Out of the Box? So long, farewell to you, my friends. Do we get copyright stricken by a 90s children's TV show? I don't think so. Come after us. Mark Cuban didn't do crap last week. I doubt that Out of the Box does anything. Great show, though. Kids love it. Any parting words, Hunter?
Hey, just get out there. Basketball season's almost over for high school. I mean, well, I guess regular season is. Still got a chance to get out there before get to state tournament time, and then you got to, or one of our teams makes it, and you got to head up to old Des Moines for
Wells Fargo Arena
state basketball.
I'll tell you what, guys. Basketball-wise,
but you should go up to state because the state tournament is pretty cool. The girls one's really cool too. They do a
girls do a great job. Everyone does a good job. The Wells Fargo. You know what? I know people are going to rip on them for becoming the Casey Center, getting engulfed by Casey's, much like we all do some mornings when we just need a donut. Oh wait, I'm not going to talk about Casey's. They don't sponsor this place. Go get your donuts at Fairway.
Casey's Pizza.
That was just Fairway made pizza. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say it's an exciting time. You know, we got the basketball tournament, wrestling and bowling, obviously, as well. That leads you right into March, where we have our March Madness Tournament Bracket Challenge, where the winners get all sorts of crazy prizes. And that leads you into the warm weather, the NBA tournament finals. One great thing about watching the NBA playoffs this year, which I will be doing, you're like the only one watching. And so it's special to you because their ratings are down like over 50%. But our ratings just keep going up and up and up. And we want to thank you fans for that. When will we see them, Hunter?
We will see them next week. Peace.